Hi everyone, how is it going? Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I've just hit 1,000 subscribers on my birthday, which is like such a beautiful gift from you guys. And I wanted to thank everyone for all the unwavering support, all the love, all the sweet comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, please. Thank you. And thank you all for sharing and being like part of this incredible journey. So I started this channel on the full moon in Aries 6 months ago. And tomorrow we're going to see a solar eclipse new moon in the sign of Aries as well. So that is like a circle complete. So, and of course, happy birthday to all my fellow Aries. Everyone who has like a birthday coming up around these dates is going to have a very, very interesting year for sure. So, my sun is at 7 degrees of Aries. This solar eclipse is at 9. So, yeah, very, very curious about what's to happen. And it's been quite a month, right? Like, March is so wild. Venus just went back into Pisces yesterday, crossed over Neptune, while we're having this solar eclipse tomorrow. And while all of this is happening, Neptune is preparing to go over into Aries as well. So, boy, this is so special. This is like not normal astrology. And we need to go back 4,000 years ago to see a Neptune moving into Aries, accompanied by a Mercury retrograde. So this moment is very, very, very rare. And take really notice of what happens during this time. We've like never seen this before in our lifetime. So what happens now could be like a once in a lifetime event for sure. So let me know like what's going on for you guys, especially my fellow Aries sun, moon, or rising. I'm very, very curious about what's been going on for you. And today we're gonna take a closer look at Venus retrograde because she just jumped back into Pisces yesterday. So yeah, there's like a lot of action in Aries. She can get like, allez, she was a little bit feisty. But now that she crossed over into Pisces, she gets like a lot more sweet, a lot more loving, a lot more forgiving. So if any fights came up during like her stay in Aries, now that she jumped back into Pisces, things can calm down a bit and there's like more space and more room for forgiving each other. So we're gonna take a little look at the chart. So, Venus retrograde. Yesterday, she re-entered the sign of Pisces, which happened on the 27th of March. And like in Pisces, she's gonna like trigger a lot of like waves of emotions, spiritual reflection, and it's gonna have like a strong sense of deja vu for many of us. And yeah, this movement back into Pisces is like very deeply significant because Pisces is a water sign and it's like associated with intuition, dreams, emotional depth. And Venus, of course, is the planet of love, money, beauty, and our values. And when it turns retrograde, especially in a sign where she's like exalted in the sign of Pisces, she really likes to be there. It's gonna like really stir up like old stories and like unresolved themes in regards to love and finances. So those who have like a prominent Pisces placement, especially 23 degrees or 29 degrees, will feel this like most intensely, along with Taurus and Libra, because Venus is your ruling planet. And the transit invites like everyone to revisit matters of the heart, to reevaluate financial paths, and dig like deeper into what truly brings us joy and meaning. Also important if you're like born with a Venus in Pisces like me, it's like a very welcoming sign to have like this extended period of time of our natal Venus in Pisces. She will bring up a lot of sweetness for us during this time. So enjoy it, guys. It is a quite rare and special time. So let's take a look at the chart. So here we can see the chart. Venus is like Yeah, she's retracing all of her steps that she took in late January during, yeah, what we know is like her pre-shadow period. So that started from the 28th of January and it's going to go throughout like May 16th. That is like the whole Venus retrograde shadow period. So yeah, it's like a 5-month stretch of emotional reassessment, and during this time, reoccurring patterns, especially in relationships and finances, are likely to resurface. So March the 1st marked the official start of the retrograde. Then Venus was at 10 degrees of Aries. Now she's like backtracking to Pisces and she's like encouraging us to reflect very deeply. And it's like switching from acting now towards feeling. Pisces is all about feelings. So yeah, not a time to act impulsively. It's a time to go inward and really feel the depths of our emotions. So yeah, really, this is like a time to like really take notice if there have been like some repeating or like reawakenings from early January, and to like question what like still resonates with our soul and what needs to be released. Because yeah, Venus, her movement through Pisces is like no small event. It's very layered, very karmic, and it's in regards to cosmic depths. And when she travels back through this water sign, it's yeah, it's very important because she's gonna make a lot of important aspects towards Neptune, what she did yesterday. Then she's gonna cross over the North Node, and then also over Saturn. And each of these planets, they like represent a different facet of our spiritual evolution. Neptune really dissolves, and it's about illusions, and it's like also about enhancing dreams or fantasy, but also making it like harder to like distinguish truth from reality, or like illusion from reality. So when she then crosses over Saturn, Saturn brings structure and boundaries, but also karmic lessons. And the North Node points to like collective destiny and future growth. So do you see all the energy that's currently being put on a North Node? It's like crazy. It's like too much energy for like the North Node to handle. So you can look at the North Node as like the front door of your house, and whatever planet stops at your front door just like throws in all of that planet's energy. And there's a lot right now. So whatever is meant to come into your life right now will enter your front door without a warning. So expect a lot of distant karmic encounters, situations, and for some of you, you will like definitely meet a soulmate with this energy. New soul contracts are being sealed during this time, and past life situations that like need to be cleared out. So together, all these energies really push us to like confront our emotional truths, release what no longer aligns, and it's like it acts as a catalyst to like realign with our higher path. So yeah, it's not just on a personal level, it's also on a collective level, a wave of emotional transformation like echoing throughout the whole earth right now. Especially with all these special transitions that are happening now, which is quite rare. So the conjunctions we saw yesterday and also still applicable for today is Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. And it's like especially powerful and symbolic because the 29 degree is like considered the critical or an heretic degree. And it's like representing finality, crisis, transformation. It's like the final ending. It is the last degree of our whole zodiac wheel. So yeah, very, very special. It's like a final karmic test before this new cycle begins in Aries. So it's like a cosmic last chapter moment. And so, yeah, expect intense, overwhelming emotions. There can be endings. There can also be huge spiritual awakenings and even major clarity around past deceptions as well. So yeah, it can like act as a gentle realization, but it can also act as like a dramatic breakdown. It depends on what it does in your chart. So yeah, and also depends on how much you're like resistant to change. It's very important not to cling to illusions or false hopes. Pisces really teaches us that letting go is very, very necessary for new life to emerge or to begin. So Venus conjuncted Neptune yesterday and today. She will do it again after she finishes up her retrograde motion, and that will happen in the beginning of May. But by then, Neptune will have already moved into Aries, so that will be very, very different energy. So I'm going to be plain honest, as usual. Those of you who had like a very romantic encounter around these days, chances are pretty high that you've like just bumped into your real soulmate. But yes, there's a but. The word soulmate sometimes gets a little bit over idealized, and that is also one of the traits of Neptune. So we know soulmates tend to come in whenever we need like help on the next leg of our journey, but sometimes that journey is not always what we expect it to be. But if you like felt very deep soulful love of Neptune and Venus, enjoy it, because it is truly wonderful. So after this happened, Venus will also form a conjunction with the North Node that will happen in early April. And this is going to signal like a very faded moment. We're going to like encounter special relationships that are meant to be, special opportunities that are bumping or like happening into our life. It's like depending on in which house of your chart that it falls into, and we're going to look at that later. Or it will be like the universe will like give you choices that are very spiritually significant. The North Node is like the universe compass, and it's like guiding us to what we need to learn, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. Like the North Node are things that we're not always very happy to start dealing or working with, because it's an energy that's unknown for us. And we earth beings, we like familiarity, so sometimes it can get a little bit uncomfortable. So but when Venus like aligns with the North Node, lessons often come like in form of love, beauty, creativity, and money. And it isn't always per se romance, but it can also be about meeting as some kind of a mentor, discovering a soul-aligned passion, or like reuniting with someone from a past life that is very, very helpful in the process that we're in right now. So all these encounters might feel very charged, like very important, and often like it could feel strangely familiar. And that is one of the things of Neptune. It's like we're one, we've met in a past life, we have this deep, unexplainable connection, because yeah, all these planets in conjunction with the North Node and Neptune crossing over, this is so rare. And yeah, it's like this, all these alignments are like really inviting us to trust the path that is unfolding, even if it like leads you in a very unexpected direction. So yeah, shortly after all this is happening, Venus will meet Saturn in Pisces, and she will stay on Saturn for like 3 weeks. And it's going to like bring serious tones to love and money. Saturn is known as the taskmaster of the zodiac. Wherever he like shows up, he demands responsibility, integrity, maturity. So when Venus comes into contact with Saturn, it's time to like get real about what we want and what we are also willing to commit to. Because relationships around that time can either deepen if they're like strong, or they have a strong foundation, or they can also get dissolved when it's like on shaky grounds. So it depends on the strength of your relationship. On a financial level, this aspect can mark like important moments in debts, in saving for the future, or making like big investments. But only do that after like careful consideration and wait until Venus goes direct. So yeah, it's like when she meets with Saturn, it can be a very sobering influence that is like going to encourage us to like stop chasing illusions and start building from like a solid emotional and material foundation. And historically, transit like these have like echoed across time, because similar Venus retrogrades in Pisces occurred during like very pivotal artistic, spiritual, and social revolutions. The last time we had similar energy, we saw like the grunge movement in the 90s. We also saw major cultural shifts in the 60s. And these moments were like marked by emotional release in combination with like spiritual seeking and a desire to like transcend the societal norms. And the current alignment really suggests we're like entering another wave of this cultural and spiritual awakening. So whether it like manifests through music, film, activism, or personal healing. Globally, we can also expect a lot of revelations around money, because Venus is in a sign that is like, ruled by Neptune. So it's Pisces, and in Pisces, it's things that were hidden, things that are unclear, deception. So yeah, on a global level, it can definitely be about things coming out in regards to our healthcare, especially our mental health care. It can also be about power structures behind the scenes that get dissolved. And with Saturn involved, it's like also about institutions, especially those who are related to finance or religion. So these are all under pressure. And secrets may be revealed during these times, and scandals could emerge. And I'm going to be honest, even this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like, we're going to see a lot of special things happening on a global level, especially with Neptune moving onto the 0 degrees of Aries, which I'm going to make another video about that, but it's going to be very, very, very special. So yeah, Pisces rules hidden things, and with the retrogrades in play, these long buried hidden things are now gonna like surface. So it can be about bank failures to healthcare systems, shifts in global alliances, and all these energies together are really like gonna expose the cracks in the foundation, Saturn. So yeah, this is like really time to maybe be careful what information you consume, stay grounded, be aware of this energy. The lessons aren't like meant to induce fear, but to like highlight where healing and change needs to happen. So another important fact, and M says, hi M, hello, Taurus Sun, Sag rising here. Oh, that's such a beautiful combination. I'm happy to have you here with us, M. So the next chart that we're going to look at is Venus direct, which is happening on April the 12th. So this is like marking a major turning point. Because this is the time when Venus is going to go direct at 24 degrees of Pisces. It's going to mark like the beginning of forward momentum in love and in money, and also in regards to our personal values. But yeah, it's still in Pisces. Pisces is still influencing Venus, so things might still feel a little bit foggy or a little bit uncertain. But this station direct happens like near the same degree as the lunar eclipse from September 2024. So it's like a deeply karmic flavor that is being added to this Venus direct. So yeah, it's like the universe is saying, you've been here before, but what are you going to do different this time? So, and after all these weeks of like reflection and emotional revisitation, it's like, yeah, Venus is going to go direct, and it's going to provide more clarity and more closure. So relationships or creative projects that like have survived this emotional storm may now like move forward with like a renewed strength and a renewed sense of insight into the other person as well. And during mid-April, we will also experience a Libra full moon, and that full moon is going to oppose Chiron and Aries. So it's like a very powerful signature for relationship breakups, also healing crisis, and or other like important conversations that are going to pop up, and like a one-on-one dynamic, not in a group dynamic, but people that you're like close with on a daily basis, on a one-on-one relationship. So Libra represents harmony and also partnerships, and Aries is about individuality and the self. So the opposition with Chiron highlights emotional wounds. It can also be about abandonment fears, or like lingering resentments, and people that are going to be like fed up and that are going to be like, okay, I'm going to like pack my bags and leave on myself, Aries. So yeah, it's like, for some, this full moon in April is really going to be like the breaking point. and it's gonna like service as like a push to leave a toxic relationship, or can also be about leaving an unhealthy financial situation. And for others it can also like mark a rebirth where partnerships become stronger through honesty and vulnerability, because that also is represented by Chiron. Either way, relationships will be tested, and only those who are like rooted in authenticity, Aries, will thrive. So yeah, emotionally, this entire period could feel like a very deep soul purge. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It represents culmination, endings, and surrender, and trusting into the unknown as well. So yeah, it's like Venus, Neptune, Saturn all dance together in this sign. We are like really asked to connect with the divine and let go of our emotional baggage. It's like time now to forgive, to release, and to heal. And old wounds, especially from past lives or deep childhood experiences, may also rise to the surface. So this all happens like not to torment you, but to like allow them to be like witnessed, experienced, and like finally transmuted in Pisces. So grab your book, start journaling, go to therapy, spiritual rituals, or like artistic expression are all especially potent tools right now. Pisces like really teaches us that we don't have to know the destination, we just like have to trust the journey. So yeah, on a creative level, this is like an energy of treasure, because it's Pisces represents artists, musicians, visionaries, and if you're one of those people, you might like really find yourself more inspired than ever, because retrogrades back into Pisces, they like really open up a portal to the unconscious, and it's like making it easier to connect with divine inspiration. So yeah, projects that you've maybe stalled may gain new life, or you might find yourself like dreaming up like whole new ideas. However, there can be like some clarity lacking. So don't rush anything to publish or to launch or to finalize. Not just yet. Just like instead use this time to refine, to imagine, to vision, to visionize, and to like play around with all these creative energies. The real magic lies in the process, not in the final product. So let art, dreams, and spiritual practices be like your guides during this inward phase. Because, yeah, on a spiritual level, this is like a collective awakening. Many people are like reporting vivid dreams, also like heightened intuition or like profound synchronicities. And Venus is in Pisces. So, yeah, it's like especially potent with Neptune and Saturn. It's like a cosmic nudge towards like our soul alignment. So yeah, if you have been like feeling disconnected from your soul purpose, or maybe you feel a bit lost in your spiritual practice, this is like the universe calling you back. So yeah, a lot of people who are like very highly sensitive, they're going to be very drawn to prayer, to meditation, to sound healing, ceremonies. And others can also simply find solace in nature, in music, or just simply being present in silence. Pisces really reminds us that the divine lives in those in-between moments. So like really lean into your intuition right now. It is your most powerful compass. And yeah, as Venus like prepares to re-enter Aries at the end of April, the energy will like totally shift in a very dramatic way. Aries is very bold, brave, ready to take action, and the contemplative tone of Pisces like gives way to desire to initiate, to lead, to act. So this could like really manifest in like newfound clarity around love and money, and like really a go-getter attitude. You're gonna really like feel a shift happening in April. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. So it's like now where you like not know what you want, and when Venus is gonna make her switch back into Aries, you're gonna be very, very willing to go after what you want. So after all these months, it actually all started with the Mars retrograde last fall for the Northern Hemisphere. All these months of inner work and all this emotional clearing out. Now in April, we're like gonna get the cosmic green light. Finally, this is like a very unusual time in history and astrology, where like half of the year all things are like retrograde. It's like unusual. So a lot of people are like waiting to like charge ahead, and they feel a little bit blocked, and so many people want to make so many moves. But yeah, in April we're finally gonna get like get off. So however, it's going to be like important to have integrated the lessons of the Pisces retrograde and all that's been going on in Pisces before charging ahead. So Aries wants movement, but Pisces really asks us to act with compassion, not just ambition. So yeah, you need to like chase real divine things, not just for the sake of instant gratification, and not just for the sake of your ego. So yeah, it's like about maturity, about karmic completion, and soulful new beginnings, especially with this Aries eclipse that we're gonna see tomorrow on the 29th. So yeah, it's like this is not just like an astrological event. It's like this week, I think this is going to be this is actually the craziest week of the entire year. So what happens now, really take notice, because it's very distant, it's very meant to be. So yeah, it's like a very big personal and collective transformation that we're going through right now. So this transformation, whether it comes through a heartbreak, it can come as a breakthrough, or both. Just know that the energy is working in your favor right now. So trust the waves, ride them with grace, and let your intuition really guide you the way forward, which is like what we're gonna do. As soon that like Neptune enters Aries, the world that we used to know is gonna be gone. So I'm gonna quickly make a quick recap of maybe the most important themes. So this whole Venus retrograde, revisiting past love, romantic fantasies. Also be careful of illusions. People may like romanticize past relationships or experience nostalgia because it's now in Pisces. Or maybe some are gonna feel this longing for something unattainable. However, it's gonna like also reveal deceptions, clarify misunderstandings, and also expose where a relationship was like built on false hopes. And that can feel very emotionally overwhelming. And a lot of people who are gonna experience this are gonna feel a bit lost, because yeah, Pisces is the sign of having to surrender and let go. So really ask yourself, like, what is this connection teaching me? Pisces can like really blur reality. And if you do encounter some issues in your relationships, really like practice forgiveness. And that includes self-forgiveness, which is like personally for me a really hard one. Like I have a natal Venus in Pisces. I'm so forgiving to everyone around me, but if I make a mistake, I'm like having a lot of difficulties to forgive myself. And that is also a beautiful energy to tap into now that Venus is in Pisces, to really, really focus and practice that self-forgiveness. And if you do feel a little bit, yeah, deception in some relationships, it can also be just plain platonic relationships as well. So set healthy boundaries if necessary, because Pisces is like this all is one, and it's like the depths of the ocean, and like every single water drop is one. But yeah, we like really need to be careful not to get lost in everyone else's desires as well. So yeah, boundaries is very, very difficult if you have a lot of Pisces planets. I know all about it. So also learn that like, or know that trust that like letting go creates like a space for deeper love and also for authentic connection. So allow space for closure if that is what the universe is like showing you right now. So yeah, the next theme is going to be spiritual awakening and intuitive expansion. So yeah, Pisces is intuition. Venus is our connection, and Pisces through dreams to our spirit guides and also to the unseen dimensions. So a lot of people will feel an increased sensitivity and insight and connection to the unseen realms. So very beautiful time to meditate, to pray, create an altar, keep a dream journal, because you're gonna receive a lot of messages from your higher self, and they might like arrive through sleep. Like I have been having the same dream in the last 3 weeks. It is incredible. I like never had this happen before. So really connect with like spiritual music, poetry, or like maybe visual art, and also trust your intuition. If something feels off, it probably is. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. But give it time. Take a step back, observe from a distance, because all these divine energies, it can actually create something very, very magically. And a lot of people are gonna, especially if they have some if they're like evolved human beings who like really worked on their shadow side, did everything to like raise their vibration, they're gonna like really encounter some really spiritual intervention actually. So yeah, it's a very, very special time. Those who are drinking and doing drugs, they are gonna have a bad time for sure. So if something feels overwhelming, don't go into escapism. That's also part of Pisces. Don't use too much drugs. Don't use too much alcohol. Don't go binge watching. Just slap yourself out of it. Go for a walk. Go swimming. You can go swinging as well if you want. Maybe do something fun, some small movement to get you out of like the freeze zone, of like the zone of overwhelming, because like our nervous system has like three colors. We have like green when we feel grounded, when we feel open, when our heart is open, when we feel calm. We have red when we're like slightly agitated, and we are like in fight, or when we are like in fight mode. And that can actually really happen with this solar eclipse that we're going to see in the sign of Aries. But then we have like another color blue, and blue is when we're like so into and flight, and so like in yeah, block mode, that is like really, really draining on our health. So when we are like in blue, and we feel stuck, and we can't go, we feel like we're locked into a box, then we need to move slowly, get ourselves slowly out of this state. And then we probably need to go back through red. And so if you go from blue feeling shocked to red, you start to feel angry again, that's actually a good sign. Like my therapist teach me that, because we need to go from blue to red to green, and it's only happening when we go through all the colors back again. So, and if things feel like too overwhelming, really just like ask a trusted friend for like an outside perspective when emotions feel too overwhelming. Then um Claudia, happy birthday, Astrid. Celebrate, enjoy. Claudia, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes. And yeah, I'd like really enjoyed my day. I had dinner with my family and I feel so stuffed, but yeah, I like really enjoyed it already. So thank you, Claudia. And Pia says, happy to be here. I have a Libra rising at 10 degrees. Ooh, that's special. What happened for you, Pia, during the last eclipse that we had in October last year? So yeah, it's opposite the Aries eclipse. What does that create, I wonder? Well, because it's in Libra, like I've explained a lot of this. in my solar eclipse video. So maybe you can check that out. I think I explained it in the chart section, so you don't have to like go through the whole video. But definitely, like, did something happen for you in relations last October? It's now like gonna get re-triggered, and it's gonna get completed by the 12th of April. So yeah, because you are a Libra rising, this Venus retrograde is of course way more important for you because you are Libra because you're Venus ruled. So yeah, go check out my solar eclipse video where I'm like putting or giving a lot of information about this. So Bart says, happy B-Day, Astrid. Thank you so much, Bart. So happy you're here with us. And thank you so much, Pia. So the next theme is illusions and escapism. Can also be like in regards to money. Pisces, Neptune, they like really blur the lines between fantasy and reality. You might idolize something or someone only to like regret it later, or like only to realize the truth later. So Venus also rules money, luxury, and material pleasures. And Pisces is a sign that represents illusions and fantasies. So it can bring a little bit confusion around financial matters. So be wary about overspending, be wary of making too big of a debts, because it's like harder to like see how it's going to affect you or what are going to be the consequences later. So, but because it's a retrograde, it can also be about financial mistakes from the past that like might resurface that like demand correction right now. So yeah, maybe not the best time to have like big purchases or big financial commitments, and don't invest too much in luxury items. Be also wary of scams, get rich quick schemes, and also unclear financial agreements. So, and also double check like financial decisions, and avoid like making too much of a big financial commitment. Wait until Venus goes direct after the 12th of April, but maybe wait until May, because then she will leave her shadow zone. But after the 12th of April is going to be less severe. So then what else do we have? And Claudia says, solar eclipse 9 degrees Aries. Wow, yeah, Claudia, no, my sun is at like 7 degrees. I'm like, I don't know whether to be happy or scared. I will like fill you in later. And Claudia also says Venus in Cancer, 8 degrees, Sol and okay, very, very interesting. It's gonna make a square for you, Claudia. That's like, it's gonna be a bit tough for you, but yeah, we can talk about this in the chat when the video is over. But yeah, Claudia, it's gonna affect you immediately because the degrees are so close towards the degrees that are happening now. So the next theme is artistic flow and creativity. So yeah, Venus in Pisces, the best transit for like artistic, dreamy, your imagination, reconnection with past creative projects, revisiting like old artistic dreams. So yeah, if you're a musician, a writer, a painter, or maybe yeah, something else in regards to a creative profession, you might like really like revise unfinished work right now. You could find like new meaning in old pieces, or like rediscover the emotional depth in your own art. So yeah, it can be like extra meaningful, and it can also be very healing to dive into art right now. So yeah, very highly beneficial. If you have old pieces that need to be finished, now you might like see them in a new light. So, and also don't worry about perfection, because Pisces creates from the heart, not from the head. Could also be a very beautiful time for everyone to create a new vision board. So with that being said, we're gonna look at each of the 12 rising signs. So you can look for your sun, for your rising, but also for your Venus sign. It's gonna also give you more insights if you look at your Venus sign as well. So for this one, I'm gonna start with Pisces because it's in your sign right now. So you have Venus retrograde in the first house. So yeah, this is like really your moment, Pisces. Through your first house of identity, your body, your self-expression, you are like the center of this retrograde cycle right now. So it's a cosmic invitation to like really reflect on your self image, on your physical presence, and like the way you show up in the world. So like, who are you becoming? What version of yourself are you like really really ready to shed, and another one to like show, or like what other version are you like ready to embody? Venus rules your third and your eighth house, so it might also bring like a transformation through communication. And also the eighth house is about emotional depth, so you might find yourself revisiting like deep conversations, and by that talking about like, or confronting old fears as well. The eighth house is also the house of fears, and it's especially going to be tied to like vulnerability and intimacy. So a very, very beautiful time to like nurture yourself. Can be through skincare, can be through other clothes, shifts in how you dress, healing practices. But wait to like have a very big drastic makeover until Venus goes direct. So yeah, this is like a personal glow up process. So yeah, you're gonna see the effects of it in late April. You're like really still learning how to value yourself more fully, and yeah, really express that in how you move, speak, how you relate. It's not just about how others see you, it's also especially about how you see yourself. And what kind of love and beauty are you like willing to like reclaim in your life? So Venus here is like to remind you that, yeah, your softness is your strength, Pisces. So, and also your dreams and your spiritual connection is like really, really worth honoring. So let me know what happens for you, my dear Pisces, with all this action in your first house. I'm really wondering what is going on for you guys. So good luck, my dear Pisces. The next one is Aries. Oh boy, Aries. You have been the star of the month, right? Tomorrow is D-Day, solar eclipse in your sign. Oh my god. But for now, Venus is traveling back and she just moved into your 12th house. So, yeah, it's like a calling it's like a deeper invitation, or like calling you into like a deeply introspective period. The 12th house is the house of rest, solitude, silence, spirituality, but also like hidden matters. It's a very, very private house. So it's like it takes some time if you are able to like step away from the noise, focus inward. A lot of you guys are gonna feel a pull to retreat, to meditate, and or to simply be alone and like enjoy some peace of mind. So yeah, an ideal period for healing emotional wounds and like untangling subconscious patterns, especially those who are like related to past relationships. It can also be like about hidden emotional entanglements or attachments. And 12th house is also your self-sabotaging behavior. So in regards to love, so good to like re-examine that. It's gonna bring up themes of letting go of like old love stories, especially the ones that you like over romanticized. And past lovers can like show up through your dreams, or also in your thoughts. So yeah, it's like release lingering emotional baggage. Venus here is really teaching you to not to tie like your self-worth to the past or to people that you used to date. Yeah, instead, like, yeah, focus on your spiritual growth and prepare for your inner world. Maybe to let in someone new that is more spiritually aligned with your new soul path now, especially with the solar eclipse that is going to kick in tomorrow. So 12th house is very, very deeply karmic. Venus is going to conjunct Neptune, Saturn, and North Node here, all in your 12th house. So you're in a phase of like soul level reflection and like big emotional purification. So yeah, if you feel that you need some rest, just listen to your body and engage like in creative or spiritual practices that really connect you to your higher self. And that can just like simply be sleeping and like taking a nap if you feel exhausted, because I have been feeling the eclipse energy coming in. I had it a lot during the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo as well. I'm a Virgo rising. Now I have a 7 degrees Aries sun. So these eclipses have been directly impacting me. The Virgo eclipse was 23 degrees. I'm at 22 degrees. Oh my God, it's like been so wild lately. So if you're an Aries and you feel like you need to rest, retreat, take a step back, and really, recharge your soul is like the message here. So yeah, if you do that, that's gonna give you much more needed clarity, and it's gonna also show you or teach you who you like truly are. So trust that like your internal glow up will soon like reflect externally when Venus is gonna move back into Aries. So Venus rules your second and your seventh house. So it could also be about old ways of making income can pop up again, or making income with a spiritual profession can be very, very profound during this time, or in a profession related to Pisces. So yeah, and the seventh is about partnerships, marriage. A relationship can see its final ending for some, and for some that's going to be because a new soulmate comes in with the Venus Neptune at the 12th house, Neptune coming into Aries, Venus back into Aries. Good. So Aries, if you do meet someone you're like really attracted to, wait a bit, reflect on it, but it could be like a true potential soulmate for you guys. So could also be just a friend that's like here to help you out. So it doesn't have to be romantic per se, but it depends on your personal chart and what aspects is Venus making for you. So, but Aries, oh my God, I'm very, very curious about what is going to happen. Let me know, and I wish you the best of luck. The next one is Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're going to have Venus retrograde into your 11th house. So Venus is, of course, your ruling planet, and it's going to retrograde through the house of friendships, group dynamics, but also long-term goals. So it's a time to like ask yourself, who's like really in my corner? Which social connections feel reciprocated and supportive? And which one leave me feeling drained? Pisces can feel draining. So yeah, friendships from the past can really resurface during this time. Some are going to be for a final closure. Others are going to be like this spiritual reconnection. You might also notice a shift in your role within group settings, and it's online but also offline. Maybe it's time to like go back to groups in regards to spirituality from the past that can like pop up again for you guys. So yeah, this retrograde really invites you to think more deeply about your dreams and about your future, like or like the dreams for your future. So are your goals like still aligned with who you are becoming right now? And with Saturn involved, you're like being asked to like really get serious about the communities and the collaborations that you engage in. It's also a good time to reassess your professional network, and also projects like involving some kind of teamwork need some maybe restructuring, or maybe you're gonna have to put up some clearer boundaries in that area. So Taurus, really choose your people wisely. This is about like quality over quantity. And yeah, Venus and Pisces want you to find more joy and creativity in your social gatherings. So really reconnect, or have friends or reconnect with people who like inspire you, or maybe divinely inspire you. And also people who like reflect evolving, mutable values as well. but also like really allow yourself space to take a step back and reevaluate what belonging truly means to you. So yeah, very transformative period for your social vision, and build a future with purpose and intention, so you can spiritually thrive in your social gatherings. So good luck, my dear Taurus. We have Gemini and Gemini rising. You have Venus in Pisces back into your 10th house. So Venus is going to put the spotlight on your career, your public image, your professional relationships. So it's a very, very potent time to like rethink your path, reputation, and long-term goals as well, or aspirations. So you might like reconnect with old bosses, old collaborators, or maybe some career ideas that you've set aside for a while. Maybe now you're gonna like blow new life into that, and you're being like asked, like, do you really love what you do? What's the deeper purpose in your professional life? Venus is linked to your fifth and your 12th house. It could also like resurface old passions and dreams that once like really, really inspired you. Maybe especially if you're like a creative, or like an entrepreneurial quests as well, or perhaps you're like considering about like rebranding or like reshaping your personal identity to reflect like who you truly are now, so that can like get evolved with Pisces. So yeah, polish up your resume, refresh your online presence, or like revisit a project that like still holds a lot of divine potential. So but avoid major career launchings until like Venus goes direct. So 10th house about public recognition. Yeah, focus on like redefining what success means to you. And this transit is like going to help you align with your career, or like with your divine inspiration in regards to your career. So really dive into your career with your heart and not with your mind. Allow your work to like reflect your soul, not just like your skill set. With a little emotional clarity, you'll like really emerge with like a stronger foundation and a vision that truly resonates, and by that your reputation might shift when the Venus retrograde is over. So good luck, my dear Gemini. Then we have Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have Venus retrograde back into your 9th house. So you're being guided to like revisit and reevaluate your beliefs, your education, your higher knowledge, your travels, long distance travels, your world view, but also your look on the future. So yeah, a time to like question old philosophical beliefs, really like renew your connection with what like truly inspires you, whether it's spiritual, academic, cultural, something about the way you like engage with the wider world that is shifting. So you might feel drawn to like revisit old books, or reconnect with old teachers or mentors, or go back to old travel destinations that like had a lot of meaning for you, who like really places that really helped you to like have some soul progress or some evolution, or like a lot of evolvement that like really provided a lot of evolvement for your soul. So can also be about legal matters, can also be about maybe distant relatives. And if you have been like handling any legal affair or like long distance situations, expect them to resurface again. And it's also like on a soul level, trusting, having trust in the universe. It's the house of religion, the 9th house. So yeah, maybe some are gonna have some disillusionment in regards to that. But the Venus retrograde is like asking you, what does freedom mean to you? Because the 9th house is Jupiter in traditional astrology. And also, like, how can you live a more truthfully, um, and authentically, or like in alignment with your spiritual or like your ethical compass. So yeah, and it's like in a fellow sister water sign, so it's like a natural energy to you. It's about soulful exploration. It can spiritual retreat, meditation, pursuing like higher knowledge, something that feeds the heart, not just the intellect, something that feeds the soul because it's in Pisces. So yeah, this energy actually just comes natural to you. So the more you will align with your beliefs with love and compassion, the more magnetic your energy becomes. So learn with an open heart and be very receptive to signs and mystical things coming through, because that can be quite special for you guys during this time. So good luck, my dear Cancer. The next one is Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have this Venus retrograde back into Pisces in your eighth house. It's the house of transformation, intimacy, shared resources, also psychological depth. So yeah, it's not a light-hearted transit, but yeah, it's one that can be very powerful and very healing. So during this time, you're gonna revisit past financial entanglements, also emotional bonds and attachments, and deeply rooted fears in regards to that, because the eighth house also rules fear, intimacy issues. Fear for intimacy are all things that are part of the eighth house. Could feel quite elusive because it's in the sign of Pisces. You might naturally over idolize intimacy as well, or not have a clear vision on that actually, and that's now going to help you. So can also be about old debts, can be about emotional debts or literal debts. These can come up to be cleared. So Venus rules your third and your 10th house. So it may also be about like connecting to past business agreements, can be about contracts, can be about communications that is like going to impact your public image or your work, or some important conversation with the boss. Yeah, you're really being pushed to dig deeper into your emotional patterns, especially those that are about trust and vulnerability and also shared responsibilities. And if you have been like avoiding financial realities or emotional truths, now is a perfect time to like face them. So Venus is also gonna like reward you. There could also be like unexpected financial gifts, inheritances, or some kind of support arriving from others. Especially if someone has like a debt to you, you have like lent people some money, now it can come back to you. If you have been working on your intimacy issues, intimate relationships might also deepen. So yeah, it's a time for emotional honesty and also practice letting go of control. The eighth house is about control, but like whatever is going to happen now with all these planets in Pisces and Neptune shifting to Aries, with Mercury crossing over that, and oh my God, so much is happening. Like it's beyond your control. You can have like a path, but maybe it will not go. Like maybe you have a plan, it will not go according to your plan. What is going to happen now is going to go according to the plan of the universe. So yeah, you're really like gonna step into like a new level of power once you like complete it and surrender to this energy. But first, before you complete it, you're gonna have to like surrender to what no longer serves you, and like clear it out. So yeah, this is like soul detox in the eighth house. So yeah, it's maybe gonna clear space for a more genuine connection and for more abundance later on in relationships. So good luck, my dear Leo. The next one is Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Risings. How are you doing, my dear fellow Virgo Risings? You're gonna have Venus retrograde back into the sign of Pisces into your seventh house. So, yeah, it's about relationships, partnerships, commitments. They all come into full focus. It's a time when we like yeah, old patterns in the relationships can come up to be reevaluated and possibly healed. And In the sign of Pisces, do you need to forgive someone? It's like the perfect time to do that right now. And if you are in a relationship, could also mean having serious conversations about like commitment expectations, about our responsibilities towards the other person. And it can also be like a difficult conversation whether you're like growing together or growing apart. So yeah, if you're single, someone from the past might return either for like closure or for a second chance. It can also really be about past life connections for you guys. It can be someone, especially Venus, Neptune at the end degrees of Pisces into your seventh house. This could mean a real soulmate can come in for you. So if you are experiencing some romance during this time, keep an eye on them and don't go ahead of yourself. Venus is not in Aries anymore. It's a time to reflect, and when Venus goes back into Aries, you'll know. So, the seventh house is actually also about business partnerships, about clients, close one on one relationships. Mercury retrograde is very close nearby. Communication with all these people is going to be key. Otherwise, it can be a little bit of a shit show with all these things in Pisces and all this confusion and chaos. And you might actually feel like others aren't like showing up very clearly or emotionally. Can also be about emotional unavailability from others because they're like lost in all the Pisces things. So yeah, and if you're the one that can be like too tempted to like over sacrifice your needs, you need to be careful with this energy. Don't let people take advantage of you during this time. This retrograde is like really showing and teaching you like how to reclaim your boundaries in relationships. So like be very honest with yourselves. Are your partnerships aligned with your values? Because Venus rules your second and your ninth house. So themes of self-worth and belief systems are also gonna pop up. And you're like actually learning that relationships with yourself really set like a tone for every other bond in your life. And that is like so crucial. So hold space for compromise, but don't let them walk all over you. So yeah, you need to like really navigate this time with clarity and compassion. And if you succeed in that, you'll come out way stronger and end up with more authentic connections, or maybe like a peaceful release from something that no longer fits your life right now. So good luck, my dear Virgo. Then we have Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have Venus retrograde back in the sign of Pisces into your sixth house of work, health, and routine. So reevaluate your daily life. Are your habits supporting your well being? Are your work relationships and your routines still fulfilling? Or are they draining you? That's possible with all these end degrees of Pisces going on right now. So, yeah, you might feel the urge to like restructure your schedule, reorganize something in your workspace, or just simply make adjustments to your health regimen. So, yeah, there's a need to bring more beauty and balance to your daily life. Venus started her retrograde in your seventh house, and you are Venus ruled. So that's like of uttermost important for you. You're Venus ruled, and Venus started in the seventh house. So for Libra, especially Libra risings, this is like an incredible, potent, and important time because these shifts are so closely tied to your one on one relationships. And perhaps a partner is like encouraging you to take better care of yourself, or maybe is you're like realizing that relationship stress is like impacting your wellness on a way too high level. And Venus here is like asking you to slow down, simplify your life, make space for healing, not just physically but also emotionally and rationally. So all these things come together. And if you've been like overworking or like under nurturing yourself, this is like a time to like shift that dynamic. It's also a powerful time to like address lingering issues with co-workers on the workplace. maybe with clients. Be very mindful of setting boundaries in those regards and don't take on responsibilities that aren't yours, because Pisces is sometimes where we sacrifice too much of ourselves to be sweet and compassionate to others, but then we end up in a burnout, especially if it's happening in the sixth. So, yeah, detox your body, your mind, your schedule, and let your routines reflect the self-love and value that you're like cultivating inside. So, what you do every day becomes who you are. So let your daily life be like a mirror of the peace and harmony that you're like building within. So, yeah, good luck, my dear Libra. I'm wishing you the best. Then we have Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have Venus retrograde back into the sign of Pisces, into your fifth house of love, creativity, pleasure. So, yeah, and children as well. It's like really, yeah, the fifth house is the natural Leo house. It is about the heart space. It's the house of love, dating, romance, children, artistic self expression. So yeah, it could feel like there's like a romantic rewind, a romantic or a creative rewind. And you may hear from an old flame or rediscover like a passion project that like once gave you like so much energy, and like now it's like time to like what and it's time to ask yourself, what brings me joy, and am I allowing myself to like play and express my love and creativity freely? So Venus rules your seventh and 12th house. So, yeah, it's also closely tied to your committed relationships and your hidden emotions. So, yeah, this is a bit of a tricky one, to be honest. Old wounds are gonna resurface, especially around love, around loss in love, around betrayal, 12th house. But don't spiral down. Let this be like a time of like clearing out these issues and like heal your heart, because it's in the fifth, the house of the heart. So maybe you can write a love letter to yourself. That could like really heal. Maybe you can read some poetry, spend time with your kids, or like really spend time or focus on your inner child as well. Yeah, Pisces is very like emotional territory. So yeah, the fact that you have like fun in the house of emotional territory, it's like a bit of loss and grief and spirituality and oneness and feeling alone are like all intertwined, which could feel a little bit chaotic, to be honest. But yeah, it could be also very inspirational and soulful for others, what you're like projecting out, because it's like about expressing yourself. So yeah, don't rush into anything serious with Venus retrograde. If you bump into an old lover, put up your boundaries. It's about like reflecting and not about initiating right now. It's like a creative process that is about to unfold, and don't be surprised if your heart feels a little bit more tender than you're used to. It can also be like a golden time to like reconnect with what you love and to like rediscover how you love, or how you implement fun into love, or what you find fun in love. So trust that the clarity will come once Venus goes direct. Until then, really, don't over romanticize, don't get lost in nostalgia, and focus on a creative rebirth. That is going to be the best for you, my dear Scorpio. And I wish you the best of luck. We have Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You're gonna have Venus retrograde back into Pisces, into your fourth house of home, family, roots, and your emotional foundation. So it's gonna bring like a very deep reflection around family, your home life, people you live with together, yeah, your sense of belonging at the home front. So you might like really revisit childhood memories, or like fixing or rearranging something in your living space, or like thinking about how to navigate emotional dynamics with parents, or like people you live with together, housemates, roommates. Yeah, it's like time to ask yourself, what does home really mean to me, and how do I create comfort, safety, and emotional security in my own life and home. So Venus rules your 11th and your 6th house. So yeah, it can also like involve friendships, co-workers. Perhaps they're gonna like visit you at home more often than usual. Perhaps you're like re-evaluating who you let into your inner world and into your home. And Saturn and Neptune are involved, so you could feel a little bit nostalgic or even a little bit melancholic, especially if you're like reflecting on the past or like considering like big life transitions, like maybe you're wanting to like move or start a family. Yeah, and that could feel like you're like leaving behind an old life or an old way of relating or an old way of like processing emotions, because maybe you're like going under like a very big shift. If you're looking to move during this time, be extra cautious with buying real estate. Be also cautious about renovations. They're gonna take way longer than you're like prepared for. Yeah, be careful about decisions around the home during this retrograde. Really wait until Venus goes direct, because delays are gonna be very likely. Instead, maybe focus on nesting in, create that sacred space. Maybe you can like decorate something in a more spiritual or intuitive way. Maybe you can create an altar at home, and also take time to like connect with your ancestry and also your heritage, or where you come from, or like you can look at photos, do some rituals. And yeah, this retrograde is like here to rebuild your emotional foundation. So whether you're like trying to heal family wounds, or like reimagining your future home, or simply yeah learning how to fully divinely nurture yourself in a better way, yeah, this is like a very good and soulful pause that like helps you to deepen your inner sense of peace and security. So yeah, it's in a quite deep house, my dear Sagittarius. So and M says, Sag, true, I'm moving back to a place you used to live. That is such a beautiful comment. Yes, that is so applicable for this transit. So yeah, if you're moving, the best thing you can do is go move back at the place you used to live before, or like to live before. So yeah, that is actually wild, M, and I wish you the best with packing in your bags and everything, because I know that is so intense. So good luck, my dear Sagittarius. Then we have Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have Venus retrograde back into Pisces, back into your third house of communication, siblings, and your daily interactions. So words and thoughts are under revision. You might like be reconnecting with old classmates, because the third house is also the house of study, but like ninth house is higher education, third house is like yeah, not lower education, I don't know how to say, but like maybe high school or something like that. So yeah, it's like also a big revisitation of your creative writing, if you're into that. Or it can simply be like rethinking the way you express yourself, because the third house is talking and how we talk. So yeah, if some communication has felt a bit off or a bit strained, especially with siblings, neighbors, co-workers, then this is like a chance to clear out misunderstandings and like really learn how to speak from the heart, or speak in a more aligned way. So yeah, this is the house that rules learning, short trips, contracts. And with Saturn here, which is of course your ruler and is co-present in this house, this is about serious topics, serious conversations. It's like meaningful communication, setting the groundwork, or like um, putting up new foundation in how you speak, and like really do it from an honest and responsible way. So You might also feel like called to redo something on your website, because the third house is also social media. It's like talking. So yeah, it's like can also be about writing an email that you have been a little bit stressed about. That's maybe going to change something in your responsibilities, or maybe something in regards to your local environment. That's also part of the third house. So yeah, Venus rules your 10th and also your 5th house. So this can also impact your career and your creativity. So like how are you promoting yourselves? Like are your ideas and messages like aligned with your true inner authentic voice, your true divine voice? So what would your higher self say? That is also a good question you can ask yourself. It's a good time to write anything down, so journaling, poetry, heart to heart conversation. Yeah, just be mindful of signing any contracts, because Mercury will soon dip back into that house as well. Not the time to sign anything important. Just wait until the retrogrades are over, just to be sure. And also know it's Saturn in that house, and Venus is going to conjunct Saturn for like 2 3 weeks. Know that your words carry a lot of weight right now. Use them to heal, to connect, to reestablish harmony, because yeah, it could like uh, put a strain for others. So yeah, and if a conversation or like a creative expression wants to come back, or pops back up, it's because it has something new to teach you. So yeah, be ready to listen, be ready to learn something new, and really be mindful about how you express yourself. So good luck, my dear Capricorn. So the last one for today is Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. You are going to have Venus retrograde back into Pisces in your second house of money, values, and self-worth. So it brings like a powerful re-evaluation of your financial life and how your relationships act in relating to like your material security. So it's not like about how much you earn, it's about how you earn it. That is like the second house. And also like why do you do what you do you value what you do you feel worthy of abundance? So these are important questions to ask yourself. So expect some old spending patterns to come up again. Maybe some corrections will need to be made in that. It can also be about financial agreements, or also income sources that needs to be renewed in some kind of way. And Venus rules your ninth and your fourth house. So it may also like involve money or ways of income connected to travel, education, or maybe something in regards to family matters or family business. Can actually even be a family business overseas. That is like the fourth and the ninth house connection as well. So yeah, perhaps you're like revisiting a financial plan, maybe renegotiations, renegotiating some rent. Oh my God, Mercury retrograde is getting the best of me. So yeah, it can also be like questioning an investment that you've made in the past. It can also be a powerful time to like align your finances with your long-term values. Um, Avoid big purchases, focus instead on budgeting, saving, and reclaiming lost funds. If something in regards to money needs to come back to you, then this is like the perfect time for it. So, but also know that like beyond money, this transit is also deeply tied to your self-worth. So you might be learning where you're like undervaluing yourself. Can be in your work, in your relationships, or in your inner self-love and self-care as well. So Venus is really like asking you to like simplify and like recalibrate and like realize your intrinsic worth as well. So yeah, realign your values. Your financial world will then like begin to reflect your inner confidence. The goal isn't like to have more, it is to feel more secure in who you are and what you truly deserve. So that would be a good team to work with during this time. So I guess that was it for today. Venus retrograde in Pisces is a very deeply emotional, introspective, and potentially eye-opening period. So it brings love, dreams, and ideals under review, really offering us a chance to reconnect, to heal, and to gain more clarity about what truly matters in relationships, in creativity, in our self-worth. However, be mindful of disillusionment. It is possible with Neptune and Pisces. So it's really, really essential to balance intuition with reality. So I hope for each and every one of you that you're going to encounter the more beautiful energy of Venus and in Pisces, on Neptune, on Saturn. Like, just know Venus will be on Saturn for almost 3 weeks, which is like insane. So just know if something feels blocked, if something comes to a halt, if something or some love relationship feels like a burden and it's becoming too much, it's maybe a sign that you should release it and really surrender to the unknown, because that's what the final degrees of Pisces mean. And I know we're all so stuck in our and in what feels like normal, or like daily to daily, like a day to day normalcy. So yeah, it can be quite difficult to get like out of our comfort zone, but maybe that is what the universe is gonna do for you instead, and it's gonna be a lot more harsh if you like not started by yourself. But universe will make it happen if it's like meant to be. So whatever is meant to leave your life during this time is gonna fall away, and whatever that is gonna meant to come into your life is gonna fall on your lap as well. Pisces is highly spiritual, highly mystic, can be divine intervention. So yeah, very, very curious. The fact that this is all happening with a solar eclipse tomorrow in Aries, Neptune moving into Aries, it is so, so incredible. So, yeah, I will see you back for my next Neptune in Aries video. And yeah, it's been 165 years ago since we saw that happening. So, and then it was without the solar eclipse, it was without Venus retrograde, it was without the Mercury retrograde. So yeah, things are definitely gonna get quite interesting in the next few weeks. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I'm sending a lot of love all towards you. Bye bye.